In 1969, I covered for a group called Grassroots, and then the USA contacted me to do my first tour. They contacted me in August, and I left in October, and so I got to go in 1969. Was the first one.
And where was your tour at? Where did you go first?
We went unloaded in Saigon and went just about any place that there was troops. We went in. I've been there 5 times and done 169 shows in country.
Wow. When did you develop your love for music?
Many years ago. I had a deal. My mother would let me, I could go out and do things as long as I learned to dance. So every time I went out, I had to learn to dance or dance with my mother before I left the house. So,
what do you think the USO brought to the troops?
Let me tell you what, we never worked a place that there shouldn't have been 10 of us there. The men loved it, and it's just a taste of home, and they got that deal. We always did a thing called Let's Go Stateside and things like that, and they just went crazy. It was wonderful.
How many years were you actually performing with USO?
We went in '69, and my last tour was in '75.
And were they all in Vietnam, or were they all in
the first
places?
4 were Vietnam and Thailand. The last one we done some in Vietnam, but a lot we were in the Philippines, Guam, Okinawa, Japan, Korea.
When you left on a tour, how long would you be out?
From 30 to 90 days. And had kids from all over the country. But one young lady, Francie Allen, lives in Nebraska now. She made all 5 tours with us. And so it was a great time.
What was the name of your group?
It's called the Nebraska Playboys.
How did that come about?
Well, we always were called the Playboys, and so Jimmy Sheldon, who hired us from Hollywood, he said, "Well, but you're all from Nebraska," and I said, "Yeah." So when it came out, it said Nebraska Playboys, so that's what it was. Yes.
How many were with you in your band?
We went. The for us was 5 and 7. 5 to 7 is normally who went.
And after you were finished with USO, obviously your love for music hasn't ended.
Hasn't.
What have you done since?
We traveled all over the United States, basically in the West and Canada and Mexico, and we were on the road over 50 years.
In Nebraska Playboys?
Nebraska Playboys. And a young man that went to work for me the night he turned 13 from Arthur, Nebraska, his name is Randy Hartman. I went home to play a date with Randy a couple weeks ago. But he was with me 42 years. And
you're still going strong today?
A man should retire, but it doesn't guess it's going to happen. So I do a lot of the rest homes. I do the VA hospitals and homes. And I do some commercial things at clubs like the Moose and Elks clubs and things like that.
How did your performance here tonight come about? How did that work?
Well, they told me about this thing was going to happen, and I thought, well, I'd like to go up. And so our commander said, okay, why don't you go up there and pick a little? And I said, okay, maybe they'll find a spot. I figured I could go in the corner somewhere, and and the next thing I know, I get a call from John, and he said, oh no, we want you to do this. And I said, well, whatever. So that's how.
What were you thinking tonight when you looked out and you saw hundreds of Wyoming veterans who were being welcomed home for the first time? What was going through your mind?
You know what? I cannot express how it made me feel. The people here, you guys have just done absolutely wonderful. The people that put this thing on, what an absolutely great thing. Maybe a little late in coming, but it's there. And everyone's had a great time. I cannot imagine, I thought maybe we were going to see 100, 200 people, There's people from all over, and it's just wonderful.
you were not immune from fire.
No, that's true.
Tell us that story.
Well, we were playing a show on a fire base, and I guess they were aiming at the fire base, and there was a big tree. Well, this tree disappeared. They came in, and we all ran. Now, let me tell you what, I did not realize how fast I could run. And dive in the deal. When I came out, we were all standing there, and they said, "What's the matter with your leg?" And I had on white tennis shoes, and it was red, and I said, "I don't know." So I got 2 pieces of shrapnel in my knee. So.
And where were you when that happened?
It's out of Da Nang, clear up on a fire base. I think the fire base was the fire base center, and so we. It was great. General Abrams told me, he said, you know, you're not active military here. And I said, no. Yeah, you work for the Department of Defense. And I said, yeah. He said, so that, not a Purple Heart, but he said, I'm going to send you something. So I have a wounded medal. It's a Vietnam wounded medal that I have. And I keep pretty close tabs on that.
Okay. Dalton, tell me, how is USO supported, and how does it continue on today? How does that work?
Everything's by donation, and I subscribe on the internet, and so I get a lot of different things for donations, and I do what I can afford to do. But there are some companies, some big companies, and I can't tell you who they are, but they make large donations for the USO, and they are very, very, very careful with the money that they do. Most all of the money that goes to the USO goes right to the heart of what is needed.
Is USO still important today?
It is, very. Some of the greats like Toby Keith and those guys are carrying it on now, and I seen Toby in Sturgis a couple years ago, and that was what he was doing. He had just got back from the USO thing, but most of his is in Afghanistan and things like that now. But
if someone wants to see Dalton play, where do they go now?
I play all over the country, basically around home in northern Colorado, Nebraska. But I do a lot of for seniors now, and we work senior centers. In fact, this Sunday, day after tomorrow, I'll be in Pine Bluffs at our senior center and I do there once a month. And I will for the rest of the year. We'll be there the first Sunday of every month. So we just, where anybody will go and listen. So, but we're really fortunate in our area. We live in an area where people dance, and they know how to party without tearing things up and doing damage. They go out and have a good time, you know. And we have people that come and see me. Now, I know an old saddle maker that lives right up the street, Jim Darden. He comes and they just come and have a good time. They give me a bad time, but you know, guys like that, Marv Halligan and all those guys, you know, they just get out and dance a few and go on about their business. But it's fun, you know. The thing that's carrying on is some of the people. There's a young lady now that runs our senior center, and she's very young. And boy, all of a sudden everything's just blooming there. You know what I mean? And it's very difficult to get young people really involved. Too many of them are down the way. You know what I mean? TV and Xbox games and things like that, you know. And my evening Xbox was go out and throw a ball up on the roof and catch it coming off. That was my
Still involved with the American Legion?
Yes. I'm a service officer with our post 60. And I'm very, very happy about it because we have some great people that do a lot of things at post 60. And it's just wonderful. In fact, John Weiss was here tonight, and Chuck Radcliffe and all those guys, just they make things happen. We go and do parades and color guard and you know, and we do the little crosses that you see on the stage. Every one of our servicemen in our cemetery has one of those, and then we go out and we put flags in those twice a year for them, and now a lot of the posts are buying those things and using them. So we're pretty happy about it.